On my 35th birthday, my husband Jack slid a manila envelope across the linen-draped table in our Upper East Side brownstone, the kind of casual flick you'd use to pass the salt, except this was laced with the bitter tang of finality. I didn't scream or shatter the crystal wine glasses like some Lifetime movie cliché. Instead, I uncapped my Montblanc pen, the one he'd gifted me on our 5th anniversary, engraved with "Forever Yours," and signed my name in looping cursive, Evelyn Harper, right there amid the flickering tea lights and the wilted roses from his secretary's florist. Then, with a smile that felt like cracking ice over a bottomless pit, I reached into my clutch and placed a slim black USB drive beside the papers, whispering, "Happy anniversary. Darling, unwrap your present." The air in the dining room thickened like the humid haze before a summer storm rolling in off the Hudson. But Jack just chuckled. That low, patronizing rumble he'd perfected over 12 years of marriage. He was 38. All sharp suits and sharper deals. The golden boy of Wall Street, who'd clawed his way from a Queens trailer park to corner offices at Sterling and Knox. I remember the night we met, a rooftop bar in Soho. Me fresh out of Columbia Law with dreams of pro bono crusades. Him nursing a scotch and a grudge against the world. He called me his equalizer, the one who balanced his chaos.
God,
what a lie that was.
He tapped the envelope.
Evelyn, it's not personal. Business is business. Sign it, and we both walk away clean. His eyes, those storm gray eyes that used to make my knees weak, now scan me like I was yesterday's closing bell ticker.
Clean.
As if our life together hadn't been a meticulously laundered pile of half-truths and borrowed time. I leaned back in my chair, the silk of my black sheath dress whispering against the leather. The cake, chocolate ganache, my favorite from that hole-in-the-wall patisserie in the village, sat untouched, its single candle guttering out. Clean, I echoed, my voice steady, schooled from years of deposition prep. Like how you kept things clean after the merger, or after Dad's firm tanked. His fork paused midway to his mouth, a sliver of tiramisu dangling like a guillotine blade. Jack's family had money, old Knickerbocker stock from when the Dutch still owned half the island, but mine? We were strivers. My father built Harper and Associates from a one-room sweatshop in Brooklyn, grinding through foreclosures and recessions until it was the go-to for midtown real estate closings. Jack had swept in 5 years ago with a partnership opportunity that promised to catapult us into the big leagues. I was pregnant with our daughter, Lily, our miracle after 2 miscarriages, and I trusted him. Blindly, stupidly, the way you trust the man who holds your hand through ultrasounds. The merger happened in a blur of champagne toasts and NDAs. Harper and Associates folded into Sterling and Knox's real estate arm. And overnight, Dad retired to Florida with a fat severance and a vague promise of consulting gigs. I handled the legalese, dotting I's while Jack schmoozed the board. But whispers started. Irregularities in the appraisals. Shell companies siphoning funds. When the auditors came calling, Jack was in Tokyo sealing a deal, and the paper trail? It looped right back to me. Emails I'd never sent, signatures forged in my hand, meticulous, almost artistic. The SEC investigation painted me as the villain, Evelyn Harper, the ambitious wife who cooked the books to feather her nest. I took the fall. Pleaded out to a misdemeanor, community service in a Queens soup kitchen, and a suspended license that killed my career before it peaked. Jack, he got a slap on the wrist and a promotion, spinning the narrative to the press as a family matter resolved internally. Lily was 2. I couldn't risk custody battles or headlines splashing her face across the post. So I swallowed it, Rebuilt in the shadows, freelance editing for legal journals, PDA bake sales to keep up appearances. All while Jack climbed higher, his bonuses buying us this brownstone. That summer place in the Hamptons, the Tesla in the garage.
Now.
Here we were. It's for the best, he said, folding the papers with the precision of a man who'd never lost a negotiation. You're holding me back.
Ev.
That whole unpleasantness. Investors get jittery. Unpleasantness. Like it was a bad blind date. Not the scaffold that nearly hanged me. I picked up the USB, rolling it between my fingers like a worry stone. You know what this is? My smile widened. A Cheshire cat in the half-light. He shook his head, amusement flickering to unease. It's every receipt.
Jack.
The offshore accounts in the Caymans. The appraisals you doctored before routing them through my inbox. The wire transfers to that consultant in Jersey, your cousin Vinny.
Right?
The one who disappeared after the feds sniffed around. His fork clattered to the plate. Bluffing. You think I'd leave a trail? But his voice cracked. That telltale hitch when the market dipped and he couldn't short it fast enough.
Oh.
Honey. I stood,
Smoothing my dress.
the city lights bleeding gold through the rain-smeared windows. I didn't. But Marcus did. Marcus Hale. My old study buddy from Columbia, now a forensic accountant with the kind of Rolodex that could topple syndicates. I'd fed him crumbs over coffee dates, innocent catch-ups. Or so Jack thought while he pieced together the mosaic. He says it's airtight. Enough to bury you under RICO charges. Maybe even that cold case with a union pension skim from 18. Jack's chair scraped back, his face draining to the color of the marble countertop.
You bitch.
After everything you stole, I cut in, voice low, venomous. From my family. From me. From Lily, who thinks her daddy's a hero because he flies her to Disney on his Amex Black. I tossed the drive onto the papers. It landed with a soft thunk, heavier than its size. Sign whatever you want. But this goes to the U.S. Attorney at 9 a.m. Unless you rewrite the settlement. Full custody for me. The brownstone. Alimony that covers Lily's college without a scholarship application. And a public apology in the Times. Front page. He lunged for the drive. But I was faster, snatching it up and tucking it back into my clutch. Don't, I warned, my free hand on my phone, thumb hovering over Marcus's speed dial. One tap, and it's emailed to every regulator from here to Langley. The room pulsed with silence, broken only by the patter of rain and the distant wail of a siren. Probably chasing some fool who thought he could outrun the city. Jack sank back, rubbing his temples, the kingmaker reduced to a cornered rat. You planned this. All of it. From the day I inked that plea deal. I admit it. No triumph in my tone. Just the hollow echo of survival. Happy birthday to me. That night, I didn't sleep in our king-sized bed with its Egyptian cotton sheets that smelled like his cologne, Creed Aventus, the scent of conquest. Instead, I slipped into Lily's room, the one painted soft lavender with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling, and curled around her 7-year-old form. She stirred, mumbling about unicorn dreams, oblivious to the fault line cracking through our world. I held her tighter, inhaling the strawberry shampoo from bath time, and whispered promises into her curls. I'll fix this, baby. Mommy's got you. By dawn, the rain had cleared, leaving the skyline crisp and unforgiving. like a fresh coat of gloss over old rot. Jack was gone when I padded downstairs in yoga pants and a Columbia hoodie, his side of the closet a void of empty hangers swaying like hanged men. On the kitchen island, the divorce papers, and signed, with a note in his slashing script, truce. Meet at the firm. 10 a.m. Bring the drive. No games. I brewed coffee strong, black, the way Dad taught me after Mom left for Reno with a blackjack dealer, and scrolled through my phone. Texts from friends. Happy birthday.
Ev.
Brunch soon? Emojis of cake and champagne. The curated veneer of Instagram lives. One from Sarah, my across-the-street neighbor. The PDA queen with her Pilates arms and passive-aggressive group chats. Heard Jack's in Tokyo again? Girls' night? If only she knew. At 9:45, I strode into Sterling and Knox's lobby, the USB burning a hole in my pocket like contraband nitro. Marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers. Receptionists in pencil skirts cooing into headsets. Security nodded me through, perks of being Mrs. Whitaker, even if that title was on life support. Jack's office was on the 42nd floor, a glass-walled area overlooking Central Park, where deals were birthed amid the scent of leather and ambition. He was waiting, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up like a man ready for war or surrender. Marcus was there too, uninvited, perched on the leather sofa with his laptop open, fingers drumming a staccato beat. Evelyn, Jack said, voice oily smooth. This is unnecessary. Marcus here? That's a low blow. Marcus's insurance, I replied, handing over the drive but keeping my thumb on the send button of the pre-drafted email on my phone. Play nice. Or it flies. We hashed it out over lukewarm conference room coffee. Custody split 70/30ths in my favor. The brownstone deeded to me outright. Spousal support index to his bonuses. Jack haggled like a bizarre trader, throwing in concessions, a country club membership, tuition for private school, while his eyes darted to the USB like it was a live grenade. Marcus verified every clause on the spot, his wire-rimmed glasses fogging slightly as he typed. By noon, it was done.
Papers signed.
Witnesses notarized. The kind of efficient dissolution that happens when love dies in spreadsheets. Jack shook my hand across the table, cold, clammy, and murmured, "You got me good,
Ev."
But remember, in this game, winners bleed too." I met his gaze, unflinching. Then consider this my transfusion. As I left the building, heels clicking on the plaza pavers. A weight lifted, not joy. Exactly. But the sweet release of exhaling after holding your breath for a decade. Lunch was falafel from the truck on 52nd, eaten on a bench in Bryant Park, watching tourists snap selfies with the library lions. My phone buzzed, Dad, from his Boca condo. Heard the news from the street. Proud of you,
Kiddo.
Beers on me next visit? I texted back. Hell yes. And bring the Cubans. That afternoon, I picked Lily up from school. P.S. 6. The progressive magnet with its rooftop garden and mindfulness circles. She barreled into my arms, backpack thumping like a drum, chattering about a finger-painting project of family trees. I hugged her close, burying my face in her backpack's Velcro scent, and drove us home to the brownstone that was now, irrevocably,
ours.
But as the sun dipped low, painting the facades in bruised purples, doubt crept in like fog off the river. Jack's parting shot echoed, winners bleed too. What if the drive wasn't the only ace? What if his truce was just another feint? I poured a glass of Cabernet, cake bread, the 19 vintage from our Napa honeymoon, and settled at my desk, the one in the sunroom overlooking the garden. Lily was upstairs, lost in her American Girl dolls, oblivious. I powered up my laptop, the screen blooming blue, and began digging deeper. Marcus had given me copies, of course, backups on an encrypted thumb drive, but curiosity, that old cat killer, had me cross-referencing. That's when I found it, buried in a subfolder labeled Legacy Assets, a scanned PDF from 2012. Pre-marriage. Pre-Lily. When Jack was still Whitaker without the hyphenated polish. It was a police report, NYPD. 19th Precinct, yellowed edges digitized to grainy pixels.
Victim, Marcus Hale.
No, not my Marcus. A different one? Wait. The name rang a bell. The report detailed a mugging gone wrong, 2 assailants in ski masks, one wielding a tire iron, beating a 22-year-old grad student outside a Murray Hill dive bar. The kid, Marcus Hale Jr., Columbia econ major, took a blow to the skull that left him in a coma for weeks. His father, the real Marcus Hale Sr., my forensic wizard, had clawed through the case files for years, convinced it was no random street crime, but a hit tied to Jack's early days hustling union loans for his uncle's construction racket. Jack's name wasn't on the report, but the timeline matched. He'd been questioned, alibied by a girlfriend who later recanted, whispering to Hale Sr. about debts owed. The case went cold. Filed under Urban Decay, but Hale Sr. never forgot. When I reconnected with his son at a law school reunion, it was fate or payback in a bottle of single malt. My hands trembled on the mouse. Jack hadn't just stolen my career, he'd orphaned a family before we even met. Lily's father, the man who'd taught her to ride a bike on the Hamptons dunes, was a monster who'd bashed in a kid's future over pennies on the dollar. Rage boiled up, hot and coppery, but I tamped it down. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon with tripwires. I forwarded the PDF to Marcus Jr., eyes only. We need to talk, and closed the laptop with a snap. Dinner was takeout Thai from the spot on Lex, pad CEW for me. Chicken sauté for the kid, eaten cross-legged on the living room rug while binging The Crown on Netflix. Lily conked out midway through Elizabeth's coronation, her head heavy on my lap, and I carried her up, tucking the duvet around her like a shield. In bed alone, the sheets cool and vast, I stared at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, shadows dancing like ghosts at a wake. Jack would fight dirty, I knew that. But so would I. For the first time in years, sleep came not as escape, but as strategy. Weeks blurred into a gritty montage, movers hauling Jack's designer suits to a sublet in Tribeca, his Porsche swapped for my sensible Audi Q5 on school runs, and the first awkward handoff at the Coffee Bean on Madison, Lily clutching her stuffed giraffe, eyes wide as saucers, while Jack shot me glares sharp enough to slice bagels. Daddy's place is temporary, he told her, ruffling her hair with forced joviality. Like a hotel adventure. She nodded, brave little soldier, but clung to my hand all the way home, asking if unicorns got divorced too. The settlement held.
For now.
My bank app pinged with direct deposits, spousal support like clockwork. Enough to cover the mortgage and Lily's violin lessons without dipping into Dad's old rainy day fund. I dove back into freelancing, ghostwriting op-eds for The Atlantic on corporate accountability. My bylines scrubbed to protect the innocent or the guilty, depending on the slant. Sarah from the PDA cornered me at drop-off one crisp October morning. her Lululemon ensemble reeking of green juice and gossip.
Ev. Still.
Jack's been distant at the club. What's the tea? I flash my best Stepford smile. The one that said blessed and unbothered. Just growing apart. You know? Life's phases. She cooed sympathies. But her eyes gleamed like she'd just unlocked the next Real Housewives plot twist. By lunch, the neighborhood WhatsApp would be ablaze. Evelyn's splitting. Bet it's the nanny. Isolation was the real killer.
Though.
Friends peeled away like wallpaper in a steam bath. Too awkward for double dates. Too juicy for coffee clutches. Even Dad's calls from Florida turned perfunctory. You holding up? Slugger? Market's up. Jack's firm killing it. Irony. Thy name is alimony. Marcus Jr. became my lifeline. We met Tuesdays at a dim Irish pub in Kips Bay. Away from prying eyes. Nursing IPAs and dissecting the digital detritus I'd hoarded. He was lanky, with his dad's analytical squint and a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that made him look like a rumpled detective from a Scandi noir. This Vincent Russo, he said one night, sliding a tablet across the scarred oak bar. Jack's Jersey connection? He's singing to the feds. Immunity deal for the 18 skim. Your ex? He's next on the menu. My stomach knotted around the pub's greasy shepherd's pie. And the mugging? Hales Sr.'s white whale. Marcus's jaw tightened. The scar from his coma surgery, a faint crescent above his brow, whitening. Cold case teams reopening it. Your PDFs were the spark. But Jack's lawyered up, top tier. The kind that eats DAs for breakfast. I traced the rim of my glass. Condensation slick under my fingers. Then we starved them. It was bravado. Born of too many true crime pods and not enough sleep. But Marcus grinned, clinking his pint to mine. To checkmate. Back home. The brownstone felt like a bunker. Reinforced locks on the garden gate. A ring cam blinking red over the stoop. Lily sensed the shift. Her bedtime stories veering from where the wild things are to questions about why Daddy's mad at Mommy. I'd spin it gentle. Grown-ups make mistakes. But love fixes everything. While inside, a storm raged. Jack's texts escalated from co-parenting logistics to veiled barbs. Lily misses her old room. Your gift ruining everything? I blocked him on everything but the custody app. But the poison seeped in. November brought Thanksgiving. That American ritual of forced gratitude and tryptophan comas. Dad flew up, his paunch straining a polo emblazoned with a marlin. And we did the full spread, turkey from the Amish market, cranberry relish spiked with bourbon, pies from Magnolia. Lily wore her pilgrim bonnet from last year's play, giggling as Dad carved with theatrical flourishes. To new beginnings, he toasted, glasses clinking like wind chimes in a gale. But midway through pie, my phone lit up, unknown number. A voice message. Jack's timbre clipped and urgent.
Ev.
Don't do this.
Meet me.
The drive, it's not just me. It implicates others. Static crackled. Then a click. Others? My fork hovered. Pumpkin filling congealing. I excused myself to the sunroom, dialing Marcus on speaker. He's cracking. Leverage? Or bait, Marcus cautioned. Halloween's ghost stories are over. This is the real haunt. Dad wandered in, nursing a Lagavulin, his eyes sharp behind bifocals. Trouble. He knew the score, had since the merger fallout, silently wiring me hush money for therapy sessions I never took. I played the message. He listened, face granite. That boy's always been a snake. Remember '09? When he borrowed from the firm's slush fund for that poker binge in Atlantic City. I blinked. Dad had covered that too, chalking it up to youthful indiscretion. How many skeletons had he buried for me? For us? Enough, Dad growled, slamming his tumbler down. You want revenge? Go biblical. Eye for an eye, but leave the kid out. That night, as Lily dreamed of turkey feathers and football, I lay awake, the city humming its nocturnal symphony, taxis honking, garbage trucks groaning, a distant jazz riff from some after-hours club. Jack's others nod at me. What if the drive's fallout snared innocence? Colleagues? Family? The controversy of it all, the gray zones where justice blurred into vendetta, made my gut twist. Was I the hero reclaiming her throne, or the villain torching the village to salt the earth? By dawn, resolve hardened like cooling lava. I texted Jack, neutral ground. The pier at Battery Park.
Noon.
Come alone. The meeting was a tableau from a Scorsese flick, gulls wheeling over the harbor, ferries churning white wakes. The statues torch a distant green promise. Jack arrived in a peacoat, too heavy for the mild air. Hands shoved in pockets. Face gaunt under the November pallor. Ev, he started. Voice raw. You win. The drive. Burn it. I'll sign over everything.
Just.
Stop. I stood rigid. Wind whipping my scarf. The USB a talisman in my coat. Others?
Who?
He glanced over his shoulder. Paranoia etching lines around his mouth. The merger. It wasn't just me. Your dad. The world tilted. Dad? He greenlit it. Oversight.
Sure.
But he knew the numbers were fuzzy. Signed off to save face after the '09 mess. Jack's eyes pleaded. A drowning man clutching driftwood. We were in it together.
Ev.
Protecting the legacy. For you. For Lily. Lies. Layered like millefeuille, but laced with enough truth to choke on. Dad's slush fund cover-up. The merger's fuzzy math. It painted him not as victim, but co-conspirator. My vengeance, sharpened on his behalf, now boomeranged. You bastard, I whispered, but the fire in my chest guttered. Jack stepped closer. Too close. His breath fogging the chill. Family sticks.
Ev.
Blood or not. Drop it, and we rewrite the story. Co-parents. Friends. Even. The pier creaked under us. Waves slapping pilings like accusations. Gulls screamed overhead, dive-bombing crumbs from a vendor's cart. I could end it, hurl the drive into the drink, seal the pact with a nod. Or press send, and watch the empire crumble. Dad's complicity exposed in the rubble. You decided? Jack prompted, voice a silken noose. I met his gaze, the harbor's slate waters mirroring my turmoil. One more thing, I said, pulling the drive free. Admit it. The mugging. Hale's kid. His flinch was visceral. A crack in the facade. Ancient history. A message gone wrong. I was 24. Scared shitless. It wasn't personal. I finished. Voice steel. Like this? He deflated, shoulders slumping against the railing. I can't go down for that. Not with Lily. The plea hung. Weaponized innocence. Fatherhood as shield, the ultimate flip. Turning predator to prey. Sympathy flickered. Unbidden. A traitor in my ranks. Was absolution possible? Or was mercy just another betrayal? In the end, I pocketed the drive. Truce, I echoed his earlier word, tasting ash. But if you ever, never, he vowed, clasping my hand, his grip vice-tight. We walked back to the subway in silence, the city swallowing our secrets like so much concrete. That night, over leftover pie with Dad, I confronted him. The merger. Your sign-off. His face crumpled, the marlin polo sagging. For you,
Ev.
to give you a future. I thought Jack was the real deal. Tears tracked his cheeks. An old man's regret. I forgave him, had to, blood calling to blood, but the fracture lingered. A hairline crack in the foundation. Christmas loomed, tinsel and eggnog masking the rot. Lily wanted the whole family under one tree. Her pleas a knife twist. Jack and I played nice at the Nutcracker, his arm brushing mine in the dark orchestra seats. A ghost of intimacy. But under the glamour, the tension coiled like a spring. Then, New Year's Eve, a gala at the Met, black tie schmooze fest where Wall Street licked wounds and plotted comebacks. I went alone. In vintage Chanel borrowed from a consignment shop, diamonds from our good times safe. Jack cornered me by the Egyptian wing, champagne flutes clinking like fragile peace. We could try again, he murmured, breath warm on my neck. Counseling. For Lily, the obelisk loomed behind us, ancient and indifferent.
Decir Esther, familiar.
Treacherous, but I saw the mugging report's grainy photo, young Marcus, tubes snaking from his arms. No, I said, stepping back. We're done performing. As midnight struck, confetti raining like judgment, I slipped out into the fray, the city alive with possibility. But on the cab ride home, my phone buzzed, Marcus. Russo flipped fully. Jack's indicted. Tomorrow's headlines. The gift I'd left wasn't just a drive, it was a domino.
And now,
the chain reaction. January 2026 hit like a freight train. Headlines screaming Sterling and Knox scandal. CEO Jack Whitaker faces fraud charges across the Times front page. My anonymous tip to the SEC, the spark that lit the fuse. Reporters camped the brownstone stoop, lenses like Cyclops' eyes, shouting questions as I shielded Lily with a pashmina, Mrs. Whitaker. Any comment on your husband's alleged embezzlement? I stonewalled, channeling every poised politico I'd ever deposed, while inside, schadenfreude warred with the sour churn of complicity. Jack's arrest was a circus, cuffs glinting under flashbulbs as feds marched him from his Tribeca pied a terra. That peacoat swapped for an orange jumpsuit in holding. Bail set at 10 mil, he made it. Of course, mortgaging his boat and begging associates for markers. Our next custody exchange? A supervised visitation room at family court, plexiglass and buzzers. Lily pressing her palm to the barrier like a scene from The Visitor. Daddy didn't do nothing bad, she insisted later. Crayon scribbles of stick figure families fracturing under eraser smudges. I knelt, wiping jelly from her chin. Sometimes grown-ups make big mistakes. Bug. But we love them anyway. Hypocrite's creed. But it bought peace. The fallout rippled. Sterling and Knox hemorrhaged clients. Stock plunging like a drunk off a bar stool. Dad's old partners circled like vultures, whispering about Harper and Associates, tainted legacy. My freelance gigs dried up, editors citing conflict of interest, leaving me scraping by on support checks that bounced like bad karma. Sarah's PDA texts went radio silent. Turns out,
Scadenfrodesse a solo sport.
Marcus Jr. surfaced at a dive in Hell's Kitchen, nursing a Boilermaker, his scar livid under neon buzz. Jack's plea bargaining, throwing Russo under the bus. But the mugging? That's leverage. DA's offering reduced time if he rolls on the 12 hit. I swirled my gin and tonic. Ice clinking judgment. And Hale Sr.? He wants blood. Or closure. Marcus's eyes softened. The Economist yielding to the Sun. Your call.
Ev.
The PDFs, you hold the kill switch. Ethics class at Columbia had been black and white. Justice blind. Scales balanced. But life? It was a funhouse mirror. Distortions everywhere. Jack's crime stained us all. Dad's complicity. My silence. Lily's fractured fairy tale. Handing over the mugging file would topple him utterly. 22 life.
No parole.
Lily's visits through bars. Mercy meant a slap. Misdemeanor assault. Time served, and a ghost that haunted us forever. Nights blurred into fever dreams. Jack in a cell block. Trading cigarettes for favors, Dad in Boca. Staring at Marlin mounts like accusatory idols, me. Alone in the brownstone. Echoes mocking the empty rooms. Lily's question sharpened. Will Daddy come home for my birthday? 8 now. Wise beyond the Disney lies. February's chill deepened the divide. Jack's lawyer, a silver fox from White Shoe Land, summoned me to a conference room smelling of stale Danish and desperation. Mr. Whitaker proposes reconciliation, he intoned. Sliding glossies of rehabs in Malibu. Family therapy brochures with smiling composites. For the child's sake. I laughed. Sharp as shattered glass. Tell him to propose to his cellmate. But doubt festered. What if Jack's try again was a manipulation? But rock bottom's epiphany? 12 years. Vows exchanged in St. Patrick's shadow. Lily's first cry in a Lenox Hill delivery room. Love's detritus. Photo albums in the attic. His monogrammed robe still on the hook. The climax brewed in March. A gray-skied hearing at 60, Center Street. The Thurgood Marshall Building's halls echoing with sobs and gavels. Jack's fraud trial prelim, me as witness. Sworn in on a Bible that felt heavier than truth. The DA, a bulldog from Brooklyn with a Brooklyn accent, grilled me on the merger docs. My forged emails a neon sign of betrayal. Your Honor, Jack's counsel objected, silk voice dripping umbrage. MS. Harper, excuse me. Whitaker has motive to fabricate. Bitter divorce. Custody vendetta. The gallery murmured. Reporters scribbling like fiends. I gripped the stand, knuckles bone white. The room spinning in fluorescent haze. Fabricate. I countered, voice carrying to the back benches. Like how my husband fabricated my career's end. Or the '09 slush fund he raided while my father covered. Or the tire iron that caved in Marcus Hale's skull because Jack couldn't pay his gambling debts. Gasps rippled. The judge's gavel a thunderclap. Counsel. Control your witness. But the seed was planted. Controversy blooming like kudzu. Pundits on CNN dissected it. Was Evelyn Whitaker a whistleblower or a spurned wife weaponizing the system? Social media split factions. Justice for Jack trending with MAGA-adjacent rants on feminist revenge, countered by Harper Strong threads lauding my grit. No heroes. Just humans clawing through the gray. Jack's eyes met mine across the well. Not fury, but fracture, a plea wrapped in defeat. In recess, he cornered me in the corridor, bailiff hovering like a bad date chaperone.
Ev.
The mugging file, don't. I was a kid, stupid, pressured by my uncle. It haunts me more than these cuffs. Haunts. I hissed, close enough to smell prison soap on his skin. It orphaned a family. Cost Hale his son's prime years. You don't get absolution because you're sorry now. Then what? His whisper cracked. The dealmaker undone. Lily needs a father, not a felon. The twist hit like vertigo. In that fluorescent limbo, I saw us not as enemies, but echoes, two strivers who'd bartered souls for security, only to find the bill due. I could destroy him, salt the earth, emerge the phoenix scorched.
Or
Compromise. A deal whispered to the DA. Fraud plea for the mugging dropped. Community service over bars. Controversial? Hell yes. Trading violent justice for white-collar wrist slap. Letting a predator skate on technicalities. Back on the stand.
post-recess.
I pivoted. Your Honor. New evidence suggests. Mitigating circumstances. I request the court consider deferred prosecution on the assault charge in exchange for full cooperation on the financials. Pandemonium. Objections flying. The gallery erupting in crosstalk. The judge adjourned. Face thunderous. But the motion stuck, a devil's bargain that left everyone bruised. Jack got 18 months in minimum security. Work release after 6. The Hales got closure via civil suit payout from his assets. Dad confessed fully, donating his severance to a victims fund, redemption's small coin. Spring thawed the city. Cherry blossoms dusting the park like confetti from a truce party. Lily's 8th birthday, a low-key affair at the zoo. Penguins and cotton candy. Jack paroled early for good behavior, showing up in chinos and a sheepish grin. She hugged him fierce. The giraffe forgotten. And for a heartbeat, we were family again, not whole, but patched.
Me?
I sold the brownstone. Split the proceeds, half to Lily's 529, half to a starter condo in Brooklyn Heights. Closer to the life I wanted, pro bono clinic by day, writing by night. A novel. Maybe. Fiction's veil over our truths. Marcus Jr. And I, coffee turned to dinners. His Scara badge I traced with tentative fingers. Not love. Yet but possibility. That rarest American dream. Jack and I, co-parents at best, wary allies at worst. He started a consultancy, ethical investments, ironies abound, swearing off the street's shadows. We nodded handoffs. Small talk about Lily's soccer goals. The unspoken treaty holding. Was it happy? Tragic? Ask the reader, did I win? Or just survive? The controversy lingers. A debate without victor. Because in the end, revenge isn't a gift, it's a mirror, reflecting the monster we all might become. And on quiet nights, with the bridge lights winking across the East River, I wonder if signing those papers was liberation. Or just the first cut in a lifetime of scars.